Hey guys, welcome to the very first episode of the Geeky Gossip, where we talk about geeky stuff, our mishaps, various experiences together. For short, life in general. My name is Neil, and make sure to click on the like and subscribe button below to stay updated on our weekly gossips. Since this is my first time vlogging, I actually found it difficult to choose on what topic to discuss about. But eventually, I had a great idea in which I would choose a word for the week in which I would associate that to a relevant topic or issue that is going on in society right now. So, the word for this week is tasenda, from the Latin word taseo, which means be silent. Tasenda means things that are best left unsaid or things that are not made to be spoken about in public. From that word, a lot of topics came into my mind, but the term communication fatigue stayed with me. We always preached and addressed on how to maintain healthy communication with other people. But what happens when we suddenly shut down? Why do we sometimes feel like isolating and unable to explain or express ourselves? Communication fatigue is where an individual feels the lethargy of communicating with other people to the point that he or she may isolate themselves to avoid interaction. For people who experience this, communication isn't a necessity anymore but a heavy responsibility. This term is commonly used in the work setting, but I believe that this could happen to anyone actually. When opening emails, you tend to get overwhelmed from the overload of messages that you have to read and respond to, so sometimes you tend to neglect it. Another example would be not being able to reply or interact with people, may it be in person or through social media, because of the limited social battery you have. Communication fatigue could be a factor or result of something you're going through, so it is important to be self-aware of its gravity and impact on whether you should seek professional help or not. So with that, let me share you some tips and advice from people who have personally experienced or is still experiencing communication fatigue, and they will share how they overcome and battle with it.
Having to experience communication fatigue, especially during a pandemic, is a great challenge. In my program, I have 8 subjects and all of them give out at least 2 tasks and conduct synchronous classes in a week. So aside from academics, I also have my org works and personal matters to attend to. Imagine the stress and burnout that gives me, all the while having a declining mental health. I shut myself out from everyone. I have a hard time carrying out my responsibilities and I feel more emotional than usual. But what I do to overcome this is to detach myself from the virtual space for a while, open up and speak to people that would understand me, and of course to organize my time for work.
I also experience communication fatigue. There are times that I intentionally do not answer any DMs of my friends or classmates regarding academics because I feel pressure to their progress. But I've always reminded myself not to compare myself from others and be more focused on what I am doing.
Every time I feel communication fatigue or I feel drained because of school, because of my course, I tend to play, watch movies. I just tend to relax so that I'll be recharged. And when I'm ready, when I'm fully charged again, I go back to my activities and work.
Now that we know some tips on how to overcome and get back up from communication fatigue, the question now is, what should we do as a responsible citizen to avoid triggering people into the situation? Or how do we help others in return? I believe there are 3 things we should remember. First, remember the person's preferred mode of communication. Phone calls, text messages, emails, and direct mail can all be used to serve different purposes. However, oftentimes a person will have a preferred method of engagement. The best way to reach and communicate is to first understand what that preferred method is and observe that preference. Next is to make sure to be timely and relevant with your communications. Before sending a message, check to make sure the content is essential to those on the receiving end. Ask these questions first. Does this information impact them personally or professionally? Can it be relayed through other means? Timely communication is a key aspect of reducing fatigue, and people are more likely to be engaged when the information is most relevant. And for that last step, it is too easy. Just be compassionate and sensitive. We never know what the other person is going through, so we must always heed into their situations first. Understanding and addressing the challenges of communication fatigue is critical, but a significant step on helping that other person out. So I hope you guys learned something from today's video, and see you on next week's episode. Bye!
When I wake up, I feel cozy, yeah. Can you hold up? Don't need no coffee.